Alright, so I just wanted to make another update video on the truck here. Talk about a couple last minute little issues that I ran into. I've got everything put back together, I'd say probably 99% right now. There's like a couple little covers that I don't have bolted on, but everything is setting in place. I had to buy a new radiator because the other one over on the ground over there was leaking when I hooked it up. So I've got lots of new parts on here. Everything's coming together real well. I ran into some issues with the starter. So basically, I had a guy rebuild the engine. He put the starter on there. It was working fine at his shop. You know, he started up for me and everything. And I had to take the starter off to drop the motor in. Just the back nose on the starter just would not fit down in the bell housing right. So I had to take that and the mechanical fuel pump off. When I put it back on, something about starters. I've got this little extra one here. This is my old one here that the gear on the inside broke and it stopped turning. But basically, when this is mounted into the underneath of the engine, the shaft right here is supposed to be exactly 1/8 inch away from the flywheel. And when I put mine back in, it was much farther apart. It was probably like 1/4 of an inch far away from it. And he didn't have any shims or anything in there. But also, the point of a shim is to space the starter away from the flywheel slightly if it's too close. Mine was too far away, so I tried doing a bunch of research on it. To make a long story short, some people say that you can shim one side of it, not both sides, to like bring it in slightly. Some people say you can actually file the surface down. I guess it would be under here, yeah, to file the surface down slightly to get it closer. That's what I ended up doing, and I'll turn it over for you here in a second and show you that it's turning over just great. But I had this one here hooked up to some jumper cables because I was just kind of seeing how it worked and just kind of testing it out and stuff. This one here, like I said, it doesn't actually fully turn. It's kind of locked up down in there, but like I said, I was just kind of playing with it and seeing how everything was working. But I won't actually take you under the truck right now because I have the dust cover back on and I don't want to take it back off. But to make a long story short, I ended up actually taking a file, just a flat file, actually that's it right there, and I filed down the part that, oh actually, you know what, it is this side, I think. Yeah, it is this side that mates to the block. I filed down the part that actually touches just a hair, you know, you don't have to go very far. This is a real thin, like, bracket up top anyway, so you can't really go too far. But I filed it down just a hair, you know, where I was real careful to keep it, you know, nice and flat on both sides. And it worked great. I got it right at 1/8 of an inch. This shaft to the flywheel is 1/8 an inch. It was perfect. And so, I told you in the last video, if you watched that one, that my carburetor is messed up. It's real gummed up, I think. It's really old. And so I tried starting it, and, well, actually, before I even filed it down, I tried shimming the one side to bring it in slightly more. And so I tried putting some gasoline into the carburetor. I tried starting it, and it started grinding really, like, it kind of turned, it was kind of like, and it started grinding like real bad. And what happened was, after I had turned it over a couple times, I went under there and looked at it, and the shell, the housing back here was actually cracked like all the way in half. So I don't know what happened. It was spaced out right. Maybe it just jumped wrong and something happened, but I went and returned that one. I got a brand new one. That's when I filed it down, and it seems to be working just fine now. So I'll jump in the truck and turn it over. Actually, I'm going to stand my camera up right here just so you can see the valves turning and stuff. So as you can see, the motor is turning over beautifully. The starter seems like it's, you know, it's engaging and disengaging properly. You know, when you turn the key and it starts, the Bendix, which is the gear inside there, goes forward, engages the flywheel, and comes back out when I release it. It's doing just what it should. Hopefully you saw the valves moving up and down and stuff. You know, the fan turns, everything is working just like it should. But like I said, whenever I pour gas into the carburetor to help, you know, get it started, it seems like it just chokes out immediately. I don't know exactly what's going on. But like I said in the last video, I am going to have to replace it. I was going to buy a new one, so unfortunately haven't started this thing up yet. But I think, you know, I've just gone through this whole thing with a fine-tooth comb, underneath and over top. I've got everything set up. Everything is ready to go pretty much. I think the valves need to be adjusted one last time, and you know, like I said, the new carburetor. So I'm getting real excited about this thing. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. You know, whoever's watching, this thing is going to be awesome when I can finally get it started. So that's just a little update on that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to talk about as far as the starter goes.